I'm Xochitl Mora. Welcome to your McAllen Minutes. If you missed the McAllen City Commission meeting of March 10th, don't worry. Here's a brief recap of what was discussed. McAllen Mayor Javier Villalobos called the McAllen City Commission meeting to order, and after the Pledge of Allegiance, District 5 Commissioner Sebi Haddad gave the invocation. The meeting began with a proclamation read by Mayor Pro Tem Omar Quintanilla in honor of Children's Advocacy Center Day. Children's Advocacy Center of Hidalgo and Starr Counties is a distinguished nonprofit organization with centers strategically located in Edinburgh, Mission, Roma, and Weslaco. Since its establishment in 2000, the center has been dedicated to alleviating the emotional trauma experienced by child abuse victims, enhancing community awareness regarding the prevention of child abuse, and supporting the effective prosecution of individuals who harm children. The comprehensive services offered by the center encompass immediate crisis intervention, forensic interviews, forensic examinations, family advocacy, mental health support, and community education. The organization will be holding their annual Vinos Wine Extravaganza fundraiser on March 22nd at the McAllen Convention Center. Thank you, Children's Advocacy Center, for the important work that you do in the community. Under consent agenda, commissioners approved an interlocal agreement with Hidalgo County to provide $10,000 to support the costs related to the annual South Texas All Hazards Conference, a free conference which provides specialized training for local, state, and federal emergency personnel covering natural and man-made disaster response. Commissioners approved a memorandum of agreement between the Coastal Bend Regional Advisory Council and the City of McAllen for the purpose of the Emergency Medical Task Force Region 11. The regional teams leverage relationships with EMS providers, fire departments, hospitals, and healthcare organizations to provide personnel and resources to respond within its specific region or throughout the state as needed. The Regional Task Force helps to summon personnel and resources for large-scale city events such as the McAllen Holiday Parade. Commissioners approved an interlocal agreement with the City of Edinburgh to renew the service contract for landfill services for the disposal of non-hazardous solid waste. The new term outlines a discount rate of $16.25 per ton, reflecting a 1% increase in tonnage. The agreement is for 10 years with automatic extension of 2 5-year terms at current or mutually agreed upon rates. Last fiscal year, the City of McAllen disposed of 151,407 tons of waste at a cost of $2,584,482. Commissioners approved an award of contract for the replacement of the existing Moderco folding partition track system in the McAllen Convention Center Exhibit Hall. The contract is in the amount of $112,907 to RPC of Dayton, Texas. Commissioners approved an award of contract for the purchase of a video wall system for the McAllen Convention Center. The contract is in the amount of $119,100 from Mag Media of McAllen. Commissioners approved an award of contract for high-density mineral bond pavement preservation project to help preserve 2.8 miles of roadway throughout McAllen. The contract is in the amount of $237,345.15 to Andale Construction, Inc. of Valley Center, Kansas. Commissioners authorized a resolution for the submission of a grant application to the Office of the Governor for funding under the FY26 Texas Anti-Gang Program that support regional, multidisciplinary approaches to combat gang violence. The grant request, in the amount of $600,000, is for McAllen's Texas Anti-Gang Center for operational infrastructure and requires no local match. Commissioners authorized a resolution for the submission of a grant application to the Texas General Land Office for funding under the Texas GLO Resilient Communities Program for the development, adoption, and implementation of resilient building codes, flood damage prevention ordinances, zoning ordinances, comprehensive plans, and land use plans that transform community goals into actionable policies. The Planning Department is requesting $300,000 with no local match required as a reimbursement for the Unified Development Code. Commissioners authorized a resolution for the submission of a grant application to the Office of the Attorney General of Texas Crime Victim Services Division for funding under the fiscal year 26 and 27 Victim Coordinator and Liaison Grant Program, which provides assistance and services to the victims of crime. Funds will be used for the Crime Victim Liaison salary and benefits, as well as any eligible incidental expenses. The grant request is in the amount of $99,000 with no local match required. Commissioners authorized a resolution for the submission of a grant application to the Office of the Governor FY Border Zone Fire Department Program, which provides funding to the professional fire departments along the Texas-Mexico border region for specialized equipment, maintenance, and medical supplies to support emergency services associated with the execution of border security activities. The grant request, in the amount of $145,000 with no local match required, is to purchase equipment for first responders. Commissioners approved the following co-op purchases. Award of contract through Buy Board to Rush Truck Center of New Braunfels, Texas and Heil of Houston in a total amount of $1,399,632.42 for the purchase of 3 current model residential automated side loader trucks. Award of contract through Buy Board to Doggett Freightliner of South Texas LLC FR in the amount of $282,393 for the purchase of 1 current model brush grapple truck. Commissioners approved tax refunds over $500 to various McAllen taxpayers. Under bids and contracts, Commissioners authorized staff to negotiate the scope of services and fee schedule with the top-ranked firm Negrete and Kohler Architects LLP of Austin, Texas for the design of the McAllen Police Department indoor shooting range. Commissioners authorized an award of contract to Rio United Builders LLC of Mission in the amount of $380,822.50 for the construction of the McAllen Police Department Evidence Room Storage Conversion Project. We hope you enjoyed this recap of your McAllen City Commission meeting. Meetings are set for the second and fourth Monday of each month. We also air the entire meeting on the McAllen Cable Network Spectrum 1300 on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. For the City of McAllen, I'm Xochitl Mora.
particular neighborhoods, and but since we were getting this close for this presentation, I said, well, let's just wait for a week or so before we tackle the other three.
Commissioner, you come up with a good point. The traffic light kind of would force us to go to the 5 lanes on Second Street to get that capacity. What the roundabout does here, since you always kind of have traffic moving at a slower rate but more efficiently, you don't have to go to that 5-lane section. As you know, we have a physical barrier north of Hobbs that doesn't allow where we're going to get additional volume from north of McAllen there. And so right here, it kind of lends itself for this type of traffic treatment. And so you make a good point, Commissioner.
On that same vein, there's no plans from our city to punch Second Street through Hobbs to meet with a Monmac, right?
They have a water plant north of us. A physical feature that would make it
very difficult.
It makes it almost too expensive for us.
Again, we plan to let everyone know. We wanted to do this before next year's budget so that, you know, everybody's familiar, so just wanted to run it by you.
Any other questions?
Looks good.
No. All right, Mayor Pro Tem, I recommend that we recess to executive session, cover those items on the agenda.
Okay, we'll recess now into executive session.
When we come back, we'll have the joint meeting here where there's a little more space before we take the dais for the regular city commission meeting. Good stuff.
Hey, Rudy. Hey. Ingeniero.
make sure you're not getting Kenny Rogers tickets.
You'll be like, go, I get another one.
the state. So while it did require an adjustment, it didn't have any impact, like I said, on net income or income or fund balance. We don't have any material weaknesses or in internal control or significant deficiencies to report to you. Those would be situations where we identified a finding and we don't have any findings to kind of report to you. I listed one other matter here that I discussed in a little bit of detail with the audit committee. I'll just mention it here that your ACFR, which you all have drafts in front of you, is somewhere around 225 pages long. There's probably 75 to 100 pages of information that's not necessarily required by the standards in that document. And so we're encouraging the city staff to take a look at that and figure out if there might be some information that could be taken out. It's a big burden for your staff to put together this document, and so creating an extra 75 to 100 pages is a lot of work. So, ultimately it is staff's decision on that, but we really encourage some review of that document to possibly streamline it down. So moving forward, as a part of our audit, we're required to identify what we call significant risks of an audit, and this has nothing to do with, again, these are not findings, there's nothing wrong as a result of this. This is as we consider our audit strategy where we're going to spend a significant amount of time, and as I mentioned, we are required to identify significant risks as part of our audit and communicate those to you. So we have three, and these are the same three that we communicated to the audit committee back in August. First one's management override of controls. This is really pervasive in all audits, and as a result of our testing related to that, we don't have any findings to report to you. Next, risk of fraud and revenue recognition, either utility or toll revenues. Again, this is not as a result of anything we saw. This is just based on our understanding of risks and processes and things like that. And as a result of our testing, we do not have any findings, clean issues there. And then just journal entries, making sure that they're appropriately recorded and reviewed. Same thing, nothing found as a result of our testing there. So again, just want to reiterate, these aren't findings. This is sometimes governing bodies can get a little concerned. This really has to do with our audit strategy and how we approach the audit. This really gives you some additional insight into kind of our audit strategy and our approach, some other areas that we identify as risk areas that I'll kind of touch on and let you know what we've done and the results of that. So expenditures, obviously how the city spends its money is an area that we really want to get comfortable with, including the liabilities associated with that. And so our procedures include testing of controls, detailed testing of specific transactions, vouching to source documents. We do analytical procedures, we do budget analysis, and as a result of all those procedures, we do not have any audit findings to report to you. Revenue, how the city is recognizing revenue, how they're collecting cash, recording it. That includes utility revenues, taxes, charges for services, grant revenues. So our procedures there are similar. It includes detailed testing of specific transactions, agreeing back to grant agreements, contracts, actual checks received, things like that. We also perform analytical procedures on things like utility revenue, toll revenue, based on either the number of customers, the number of gallons for water, the number of crossings for the tolls, to make sure the revenue being reported is appropriate, and we don't have any audit findings there. Cash and investments, obviously the custody of those cash and investments is an important job of the city, and so we do confirm with the banks and the institutions themselves the cash balances, and then we test any reconciling items. As a result of that, we do not have any audit findings to report to you. And then the recognition and disclosure of long-term debt is also a bit of a risk, and so we do confirm the debt balances with third parties, and then reconcile any differences out, and then make sure and kind of recalculate any discounts, premiums, all of the kind of debt-related items that go into the financial statements. We do not have any audit findings to report to you. So I'll run through our list of required communications. The accounting policies are important to any set of financial statements. They are included in the notes to the financial statements. Recommend that you take a read through those. There have not been any changes to the accounting policies used by the city, and nothing has come to our attention to make us think that the city should be making any changes or that there's any aggressive type of accounting policies or anything like that. Everything continues to be appropriate and disclosed. Significant accounting estimates, we note that there are none. The preparation of every set of financial statement includes estimates, and so we do take a look at the estimates that go into the preparation of these financial statements, make sure that the methods used and the inputs going into those methodologies are appropriate, The term significant accounting estimates is an auditing term. If you did have what we consider to be significant accounting estimates, we would highlight those to you. A significant accounting estimate is one that really management has the ability to swing one way or the other using the inputs, using the methodologies they've got a higher level of subjectivity, and really there just aren't any in the city's financial statements. With respect to the financial statement disclosures in the document, they continue to be clear, consistent, and thorough, and so we point that out to you. We're not aware of any significant unusual transactions that we identified during our testing. We would point those out to you if we were. We are not aware of any identified or suspected fraud. We would bring that to your attention way in advance of this meeting if we were aware of anything like that. We did not encounter any significant difficulties in dealing with management. In fact, I want to commend management for the work that they did. As you know, that there's been some turnover in the accounting and finance department of the city, and so the work done on staff's part to put together this document and get it done, get here and deadline was a lot of work, and so the city's to be commended for the work that they put in on that. We do not have any disagreements with management. If we did, we'd point those out to you at this point. We have received our representational letter from management. We received that before we issue our final opinion, and so we've received that. We're not aware of management consulting with any other accountants for any accounting guidance, opinion shopping, if is what that would be. We are aware that the fire pension uses a separate auditor, and so we have received their report. Don't have any concerns about that. We don't have any other matters that we would communicate to you at this time. I touched on the one corrected misstatement that's in place. We don't have any uncorrected or past adjustments. Occasionally we have those, but they do not exist in this instance. We don't have any deficiencies or significant deficiencies or material weaknesses to report to you. Be happy to address any questions that you all may have, and then
Any questions?
Sonia has. No? Okay.
You could have finished this real quick just by stating your finance team is awesome.
Your finance team is awesome.
Great.
Any questions?
No, sir.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
No, move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Utility has a motion, requesting a motion to approve.
To approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All same sign.
Motion
passes.
carries. And I believe that's the end of our joint meeting. Thank you so much.
Utility has a motion to adjourn, please. Second.
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you all very much.
You know, which is, what's your boss on your right?
Oh, dude, I know you. I know how y'all want to.
proclamation. Who writes these things? It used to be you, no?
We're on, okay, we're back from recess, and we have two proclamations. First, we have the National Vietnam War Veterans Day. Commissioner Zamora.
But we don't have to. When the meeting was over.
We opened the meeting.
I was on the phone call.
Said the pledge, did an invocation.
We just recessed.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our City Commission meeting here today, the 24th of March, 2025. It's my privilege and honor to read the following proclamation. City of McAllen, proclamation, State of Texas, County of Hidalgo, City of McAllen. Whereas in the United States of America, March 29th is designated as a day to honor Vietnam veterans of all branches of the armed services for their contributions to the cause of peace and freedom around the world. And whereas members of the armed services, past and present, invest their services, skills, commitment, and sometimes their very own lives for the protection of our country and democracy. And whereas the McAllen City Commission can think of no other group of people so deserving of admiration and respect than those who have established, defended, and maintained our essential freedoms and our unalienable rights. And whereas veterans of the armed services and these employees have pledged another commitment to provide high-quality services and quality of life to all who live, work, and visit our great nation. And whereas the McAllen City Commission encourages all citizens to join in expressing to all veterans their high regard and profound appreciation toward them for their sacrifices and their service to our country. Now, therefore, I, Joaquin Zamora, City Commissioner for the City of McAllen, by the virtue of authority vested in me on behalf of the Board of Commissioners and the Mayor of McAllen, do hereby proclaim March 29, 2025 as National Vietnam War Veterans Day.
Excellent.
I don't know, we had a member of the armed services.
Commissioner, you can just go take a picture by
I'll
yourself.
have to do it there.
I was just kidding. Yes. Oh, yeah. Excellent. Thank you all, Commissioners. Zamora was sweating out there. And next we have not just any cleanup, it's the greatest American cleanup, and don't mess with Texas Trash Off. Commissioner Aguirre.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much for pointing.
Good. Great, large crowd. The state of Texas, the county of Hidalgo, and our great city of McAllen would like to give this proclamation. Whereas keep America beautiful, or keep McAllen beautiful, and keep Texas Beautiful, in partnership with the national sponsors, has established the greatest American cleanup and Don't Mess with Texas Trash Off, the largest grassroots effort in the nation to organize and bring national attention to community involvement activities undertaken by this and its participating organizations. Whereas caring citizens and volunteers of McAllen, our surrounding communities, and all of the McAllen Independent School District campuses has committed and proud to do their part to sustain and improve the quality of life in our great city of McAllen. And whereas Keep McAllen Beautiful wishes to support the nation's largest organized cleanup through the help of volunteers, building on the foundation of civic pride and individual responsibility. And now therefore I, Tony Aguirre Jr., City Commissioner of the City of McAllen, by virtue of and authority of our Mayor and the City Commission, do hereby proclaim April the 12th, 2025 as the greatest American cleanup and Don't Mess with Texas Trash Off Day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mayor, Commissioners, City Management, for giving us this opportunity to invite everybody to come to the greatest American cleanup and Don't Mess with Texas Trash Off on Saturday, April 12th at McAllen Municipal Park from 8 to 12. It's 4 short hours, but I swear, you're not cleaning for 4 hours. You're not, okay? We want to invite everybody to join us for the biggest litter cleanup in McAllen. So we're inviting business leaders, students, civic organization, families, individuals, everybody to come join us. I say that if you live, eat, and play here, come help us out. Let's keep McAllen beautiful. We're going to provide the volunteers with supplies, a volunteer shirt, Marie has it over here, and lunch after they're done cleaning up the spot that we assigned to them. We will also have buses to transport the volunteers to and from the different sites. To register, go to our website, www.keepmcallenbeautiful.org. Let's work together to make our community shine and keep it looking beautiful. Thank you so much for being here. Sign up today.
And next we have our public hearings.
Are we pushing for arts?
Public art.
Arts.
Good idea.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioner. We have 7 items that are on for routine items. They come from the Planning and Zoning Commission with a positive recommendation. The first request, we have 3 rezonings, and they're going from the old code to the new code, the UDC. The first request is to rezone from R1 to R2, property located at 321 South Taylor Road. Second request is to rezone from C4 to I1, property located at 2600 Military Highway. The third item is to rezone from C3 to C2, property located at 7700 and 7760 North Cherry Road. Item number 4 is a conditional use permit for 1 year for a bar located at 2121 South 10th Street. Item number 5 is a conditional use permit for life of the use for an amendment to the plan unit development, property located at 2601 North Ware Road. Item number 6 is a request for a conditional use permit for life of the use and adoption of an ordinance for a property located at 2601 North 8th Street. And item number 7 is a request for a conditional use permit for life of the use for a single-family dwelling and adoption of an ordinance at 4300 South Ware Road.
Do we have anybody to speak against any of these items? Anyone against any of these items? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. I need a motion to amend the zoning ordinance of the city of
So moved.
McAllen.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Consent agenda, we have items A through I. Do we need to pull
Mayor.
anything?
And Mayor, I would just point out that the items on the consent agenda include award of contract for upgraded firewall support for the city, interlocal agreement with the City of Brownsville, 3 grant applications to support the arts, an application to the National Endowment, an application to Mid-Atlantic Arts, and an application to the Texas Commission on the Arts, in addition to contracts for purchasing upgraded access control equipment for convention facilities and the performing arts facility that need upgrade.
Excellent. Does anybody have any issues, or do we approve them?
No, and they're very important. All of these there's a lot of effort being put by a lot of people in our staff to do that, and working also regionally. So I'd like to commend all of those, because there's a lot of money coming in from different venues, and it takes work to get them.
Excellent. Do I have a motion to approve items A through I?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
I
Item
just
4.
abstain from item 3I2 technically.
Yes, sir. Item 4.
Item 4A, Mayor, consideration and approval of contract amendment number 2 for additional services for the Yuma roadway widening project.
Mayor and Commission, thank you. This item, B2Z, is currently under contract to provide design development services for Yuma roadway widening and improvement project. The project requires the acquisition of right-of-way and estimated at 14 parcels that are to be acquired. Staff recommends approval of contract amendment number 2 to B2Z Engineering LLC for additional professional services associated with right-of-way acquisition as outlined in the attached scope for $7,151.43 per parcel for 14 parcels, for a total amount of a contract amendment, $100,120.02, and a revised contract amount of $1,087,346, and we open it up.
Any
for
questions?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 4B.
4B is award of contract for the purchase of transportable 10-row bleachers to support parks and recreation activities, Mayor.
Okay. Any questions regarding bleachers?
Motion to approve.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 4C.
Consideration of and approval of change order number 2 for the McAllen Camp project.
Let's see, what do we have?
Yeah, Mayor, Commissioners, change order number 2 includes providing additional support and rerouting wire for the ceiling fan at the gazebo area. So this is where they need to fabricate a new beam to hold up the ceiling fan there at the gazebo. And so the contract is also requesting 44 additional days due to inclement weather and an irrigation leak that we had back in December. And so 44 more days added on there. So the architect on record, Hefner Design Team, and staff recommend approval of change order number 2 in the amount of $3,246.10 with additional 44 days added on to the existing 180.
What are we looking at now?
245 days. So we're still shooting for May to get that completed. They are on a fast pace to get that completed. We don't think they will need those additional days, but they are requesting those.
So just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case, and I was out there and the water was real low, so we can pull out the wood.
Yes, sir.
the
So
trees
the team started going out there to clean up the trash that's been in there. The second portion will be cutting those tree
Excellent.
limbs out.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item
Thank you.
5.
Mayor, item 5A is consideration of variance request to maximum block length requirement and interior street right-of-way requirement for the proposed enclave on Jackson subdivision.
Okay, this is a proposed 80-lot townhouse subdivision located on the west side of Jackson Road, north of Isla Vista. 2 variances are being requested. The first variance is to allow a block length of approximately 1,300 instead of the maximum 900 feet allowed for in section 134-105 of the subdivision ordinance, without providing for a stub-out street. The basis for the request is that this is a private subdivision with access from Jackson and an gated exit onto K Center Street. Second variance is to allow a 50-foot right-of-way with 10-foot utility and sidewalk easements on both sides. Instead of the required 60, they will be providing the 40 feet of pavement that's required. Planning and Zoning Commission considered this request at their meeting of February the 18th. They approved the plan in revised preliminary form and recommended approval of the 2 variance requests with 5 members present and voting.
So did you say there's an entrance on each side, or there's not?
The entrance is going to be off of Jackson Road, and heading west, they're providing the north-south collector street on the west side, which is K Center Street, and that will be a gated exit at that point.
Okay, because I guess the,
Oh, I see.
the proposed, it was probably a preliminary one. The proposed one in here shows, what do you call it, cul-de-sac?
A cul-de-sac in the midsection?
Well, in the midsection and at the end.
No, okay, excuse me, the latest plan shows an entrance off Jackson and an exit onto
Yeah,
K Center Street.
the subdivision map shows that, and then you go to the, I guess what was a little more of a, probably a little bit more of a drawing, but it
Yes.
shows it with a cul-de-sac.
That was the initial submittals, and then
Okay.
as they met with staff, they adjusted the layout of the plan.
Okay,
But it's a private or non-private?
It's proposed to
It's
be
private.
private, yes, sir.
Oh.
we make motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Item 6.
6A is advisory board appointments, Mayor. Ms. Perla?
Afternoon, Mayor and City Commission. These are advisory board appointments, and Mayor, you have nominated Jose Vela to the Ambulance Board, Yvette Barrera to the Traffic Commission, and Nancy Valenzuela to ZBOA. You also have one vacancy on the McAllen Housing Authority and one pending commissioner assignment.
At the Housing Authority or the,
the McAllen Housing Authority, Francisco Mesa.
there's a vacancy there? Well, I'll put Mr. Mesa if there's a vacancy,
Yeah.
but I don't remember there being a vacancy. I guess you know.
There was a one-year hold, Mayor, so now that hold is now off.
Oh,
and so now
okay,
he's eligible
that's what
to
it is.
serve.
Yes.
Commissioner Zamora, you have one vacancy on the CDBG board due to a resignation.
I'll come back at
You'll
the
come
next
back?
meeting with a nomination.
And Mayor Pro Tem Quintanilla, you have 3 vacancies for mayors that have termed out, one on planning and zoning, one on Keep McAllen Beautiful, and one to the Traffic Commission.
I'll be
Bring it
game with
back?
you on that. Yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
Okay, Commissioner Castillo, you have 4 vacancies, one to the CDBG for attendance, historic preservation also due to attendance, McAllen Library for the same reason, and Traffic Commission Board due to attendance also. Bring it back? Okay. And Commissioner Haddad, you have 1 vacancy also due to attendance to CDBG.
I'll get you one.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have motion to approve the nominations?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Future agenda items?
We have holiday parade, streetlights should be coming, I believe, next meeting, Mayor. Commissioner Avisa de Vaca wanted an update on some public art. We'll be getting that presentation put together. Any other topics you all would like us to workshop?
I think we're good. Executive session items.
Mayor, with regards to items 7A and 7B, no action is recommended. With regards to items 7C and 7D, I recommend that the commission entertain a motion to authorize the city attorney and city manager to proceed as described in executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.
Regular City Commission meetings are held on the second and fourth Monday of each month. Meetings are rebroadcast on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays on the McAllen Cable Network.